All right, boys, how are we all doing?
Good man.
Really happy after that.
Well, we do say that we do enjoy these after beautiful, amazing Hearts performances. It seems so much easier to talk about the football when your team's brilliant, isn't it? Superb. Well, thanks to everybody that's joining, that's listening, the thousands and millions of viewers all over the world. Welcome back to This Is My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast. We're mixing it up.
Millions, aye.
Some would say getting too big for our boots, overstepping our mark. I don't know, but we're going to try and do a live podcast. That's how big time we've become. Superb. His fame went to my head. I don't know. Ask my PA and I'll get back to you. We're going to try and combine a bit of our normal podcast, and we'll do some sort of match reaction to the absolute fucking shit show that we've just watched in Greenock Morton. 0-0 shambles. But anyway, we'll save all that juiciness for later. So, how's all doing, boys? She's alright?
Good. Just a bit bored, and I'm actually glad that I've got used to speak to. Feels like it's been a while since we've done one of these, but it's only been a week. Shows you how much I'm growing attached to you, which is disturbing.
It's been 10 days. That's how that. Keep that for the people listening. Keep that in context for when we discuss how poor we played tonight. We have had 10 days to prepare for tonight's match, and that's what we've seen. Big shout out listening on Radio Grapevine in St John's Hospital. Kev, we're thinking of you. Let's hope that
in the geriatric ward
gets you better. Kev's finally moved out of the dungeon and he's been put into Ward 11 or whatever it is in St John's, and God knows what Brad's is doing. Done the plaza or something, protecting the statues because Shanks is on the pod.
I think he's just stroking Kev's arm in the hospital. So
we're going to be alright.
He did say that his work is only just a few metres away, isn't it? So he's going to go over there and hold his hand. Something about breaking in, even though he's not allowed visitors. So,
Aye, but I see this in all seriousness. Obviously, Brad's not with us tonight, and Kev, we hope that you're all right. Get better. We're all thinking of you. Don't know how the fuck you've managed to get us back to bite living in Scotland.
Well, I was going to say, you were making it sound kind of sinister there, like something bad has happened to him. Let's be clear, people. He's got a little boo-boo in his hand from a spider, and he's taking an allergic reaction. What the fucking hell? How is that something that someone gets affected by? Mental.
I'd be absolutely shiting myself if it happened to me, man.
Kev, if all goes tits up, can I have your sandwich? Because I'm needing one.
You're talking about a golf club and no his actual. Not a hammer that he's left somewhere, is it? You're just trying to show it. What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know. This live
Kev being ill. Move on.
My nonsense.
This is my nonsense Radio Grapevine. Do you know what's sad that is? Actually, is because myself and Thomas are performers. We have been on said Radio Grapevine at St John's Hospital. I did not make that up. That is a real thing.
Yeah. Separately, can we both add as well, which is weirder.
Because my band's better. I wouldn't be in your shite band. Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Like I said, we'll do a match reaction and we'll try and do our usual podcast. So we've got Shanks McCann's headlines, match reaction. We've got Quiz Roy Simpson, the Cali game and predictions. Leave it on the stand. And everything that's been mental in between. Will we talk about the Super League or fuck it? I'd rather laugh at Brecon.
laugh at Brecon. If it's an option between the two, like it's.
Let's laugh. That'll be funnier, won't it? Aye. Let's do that. I've loved the pure pylon for all the other clubs being like, fucking dry your eyes out. Get it up. It's been superb to see the outpouring of absolute get it round Jetty Brecon, so we'll touch on that as well. Right, Shanks, I'll stick my hands up and say apologies because we didn't put your Shanks McCanns on Twitter because Harry Cochran left and Hearts Twitter went mental and we forgot to bother posting it. So what have we got this week? What were the last week ones? Who got it right? And what are we setting up for this week?
This will be my last appearance on the podcast because I'm fed up with this shoddy Twitter. I'm going to set up my own Adidas podcast with Rab. And then he'll not let me on it because he's a big tube. Right, this week So winners from last week, we've got Kyle Borthwick, Ross 1874, Colin Marshall, Connor 1874, the Verm Dog, Detty, and Mikey Ross. So a good wee turnout considering it only got posted earlier on. Right.
All right,
So,
don't be salty about it. Don't get salty about it. It was a wee accident.
you're all right. I know you're big time now. You've not got time for
Okay.
this.
My PA is going to hear about this.
Normally
honestly.
Shanks doesn't do the graphic until fucking midnight on a Friday anyway. So like,
That's exactly when I sent the graphic.
What are you moaning about?
Right. So number one, bigger ego than Corbett. That's relevant.
That was last
week. Donis Avdajaja. Aye, him. That wee fella from Schalke who was playing with Sané and all that, and then he came over here saying that he'd scored everywhere he's been, and since he said that, he's never scored again. So that's class. And great touch for a big hoodie was Bjorn Johnson, but I'm surprised that everyone got that, because I gave a clue saying that he was like a big mad internationalist, and I thought you all thought, like, I thought that he was Scandinavian, but he's actually American.
American, aye. Okay.
And the last player who was a panic buy in January, Cathro, and we punted him to Vieira in New York, was Struna. So that's your free. Right, this week's nonsense. We'll kick off with player one. So, sent his own keeper to hospital on his debut. Joined in the summer, had to wait till October for his first goal, but what a goal it was. Went on to captain the club before moving on. Player two. Listening in now, boys. Tune in. Previous Old Firm manager took his spot in the team, pushing him out the door. He was hyped up by his two countrymen. Luckily, his ban for smashing lines was overturned and he joined the famous. One goal for us versus Motherwell. All the best, Tam. Player 3. 21 goals in 3 spells with us. Absolute bear of a player. Superb for the dressing room. Wrapped up the points at the Gorgie end versus Celtic, smashing one top right, making Mulgrew look a dafty. Booked for his celebration at Easter Road, and would still do a job. That's your free.
Cool. Fandabidozi. Let's make sure we try and get these on Twitter this time so that we can get. And what are you going to commit to more? I've got 2 more pictures left, or are you patching this and we'll do something different?
Are the pictures like good quality?
Don't know, they're a bit obscure now. I'm not even sure you know how.
Right, okay, so I'm quite happy to step in here because, like, well, me and Shanks have the same hairline, albeit my beard is better colour than his because I've got two-tone, he hasn't. I'll happily pick them up for next week.
Scott McCann.
Scott McCann.
There we go.
Scott McCann. I might have to change my McCanns then.
Okay.
Has anyone in the comments got any of those answers yet? Just out of interest.
No, not yet.
Or is it probably loading yet?
There's a couple of comments on the live chat. Good segue, Thomas. Thanks for that. Graham Smith asking, "How's your leg, Corbett?" I've written back just in the background. I didn't quite put the thumbs up, but I said Corbett's leg's okay. It's still made of eggshells though.
Yep. This will be a recurring theme throughout the years of this podcast. I go various stages of my legs being broken. It's I'm going to end up like Lieutenant Dan for Forrest Gump in the podcast world.
Davey McClure has just put in the group chat, not the group chat, but the chat, saying he's got all 3 of them. So that's quite a statement.
Don't spoil it by reading it.
But
I thought Davey was going to share his story about why we hate Austin McPhee, but we'll keep that for a Christmas special or something, because me and Davey were having a good chat about why I hate Austin McPhee, but I'll keep it for a different day.
There's other people just now commenting saying such and such was this number, such and such was that number, but that's fine. It's not going to spoil when we release this as audio, because the only way it's going to spoil it for you is if you're actually watching it live on the YouTube. So Don't worry about your moment of glory, Shanks, when you do the graphic at 12:30 on Friday when you're streaming. It will still be relevant.
And I've missed, because we're live, I've missed my favourite part of the podcast where I get to plug the sponsors. We'll have to just wait. We'll have to wait for that for another day. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for it. No word from the sponsors tonight. Right, headlines before we dive in, as we do all the time. We're trying to stall talking about how much is there to discuss, and a dead rubber at the end of the season and a 0-0 draw. Fucking barely anything, but we'll wing it. We'll wing it out so that we can try and get something. But first, headlines. Another remarkably quiet week in the world of football. English football has imploded, which is absolutely sensational to see. I am going to I'm going to call them out, the absolute maniacs on like Twitter being like, oh, I'm so happy my club values me and loves me and all that, tweeting Hearts directly, and like, are you fucking mental? Do you know what I mean? I've never felt as disconnected to the club in about 20 years as I do right now. And just because Liverpool are joining some Super League, that means that Hearts love us. Talk shite. Absolute nonsense. Wait till the begging bowl's out in a month. We're going to stick with Robbie Nielsen as the manager, and they'll expect us to sell 13,000 season tickets based on performances like the night. Have a day off.
The funny thing is, even seeing it for Old Firm fans, and you're like, nah, surely if the Old Firm were asked, they'd have jumped at any chance for it. Like.
I did tweet it to Carragher and Neville, where I'd said, Carragher and Neville are on Sky Sports right now going absolute tonto, talking about getting politicians involved, players involved, protests, boycotts, everything. And here's Andy Walker on Sky Sports begging Celtic to join the European
absolutely pathetic.
Absolutely. It was embarrassing. And Tam, you're right. They'd throw us all under the bus in a heartbeat to join the Euro League. Of course they would. They're actually just devastated that they haven't been invited.
And we're getting away from one of the main points and I'd put this in our group chat, which is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens in a European Super League. Hearts will still be pish. And that's what we're here to speak about. Hearts will still be shite, no matter how rich these clubs might get if the Super League does actually happen. So there you go.
So
there's a conversation there. How badly would we waste £1 billion if we got given it?
Get a 15-year deal because he'd been in America. He would be like was it LeBron James? He would be that guy for Hearts. We just give him all the money, give him all the sponsorships, and it'd be absolute dog shit. Let's treat it like no one knows what it is. Shanks, I know that you've been pretty vocal and you have a forensic knowledge of the ins and outs of the European Super League. So for the people that are listening, do you want to just briefly describe what it was?
So there were 12 teams who thought they were big time Charlies, a bit like Corbett in the podcast world. 6 of them for England, and 3 of them were shite. 3 from Spain and 3 from Italy, and they were basically going to leave Europa League, Champs League, and start their own Super League. JP Morgan were going to bankroll it, $5 billion, I believe, as a setup fee. They threw a patronising comment away that they were going to do a Birds version in the future. I wonder if that was just a token gesture. And then they were going to have a closed competition of founding members, which I thought was 14, but I only said 12 teams there. And then only the 5 additional teams could be then relegated, which then, as Pep came out today and said, it's not a sport then, because you can't really congratulate yourself if you've not got a chance of getting relegated, which is just an absolute nonsense. But I just found it quite interesting how everybody just got so fucking emotional about it when it was obviously never going to happen. And I'm delighted to see that it's fallen on its arse.
Shanks, you know what it reminds me? Remember you went through that phase where you just started various group chats with all of us and just added boys that you'd met in the pub, hoping like you just like Kev's a bit dull in the group chat, so start one without Kev, and this will be the new group chat.
I just kept experimenting until I got to this happy mixture of absolute nobodies.
And then we started a podcast.
That is basically what happened. Is the guy for Real Madrid had like Sheffield United's owners in a group chat and all that, and we're like, nah, fuck this guy, he's doing my head in. Start a new group chat, get the other guys in who were like, brilliant idea. Tell you what we'll do, we'll get a football, we'll go down the Vida pitches at Livy, we'll play red arse and worst keeper, and it'll be fucking brilliant. And now the Real Madrid chairman sitting on a podcast with a broken leg, regretting he ever even spoke to you. That is exactly what the ESL is, isn't it?
Yeah, you're pivotal in
In a
European and
nutshell,
world
innit?
football is what we've figured out there.
The actual bit, these things, and we'll come on to breaking in a minute because it's funny, but the absolute best tweet that won the internet was the one where it said Tottenham being in the ESL is like me walking into the Crucible and putting 50p down the saying I'm next on. How did Tottenham get in there? What the fuck? They've never won anything in their whole entire life. How did they sneak
That's
in?
class.
Chicks.
I was going to say the only good thing that was going to come out of it was that Aaron Hickey might get a game for Scotland, but that's fucked now and all.
Aye, and being serious, I don't know what will happen now, because part of me thinks that this is like, it's like the first attacks on a defence or a fortress or something like that. Unless they absolutely shut this down now with like bans and kicking folk out and that, it'll happen again. They've tested the water.
100%.
They've seen what's happened. They'll come back. This has to be absolutely eradicated now, or it'll just be constant.
Yeah,
Ando.
exactly on that point is that because this has been a massive scare, you can guarantee that UEFA and probably FIFA will put legislation in place within the laws or rules of the game and their organisations to stop this from happening. Just one other thing, just from the chat, in answer to the question, Liam L, how would we waste X amount of £1 billion? I think it was £3 billion. Well, Liam L suggested that we'd probably give £1 billion of it to Craig Levein as a thank you for all he's done for the club.
Oh no, we'd give it, put it in like an ISA, like one of those guys that sells Bitcoin. Here's $1 billion, can you look after it for us?
Robert Gill saying Andy Walker once a wank, always a wank. Couldn't agree more. And Gogs MKT saying tweets to Nev and Cara. Definitely, Corbett, you are a big time Charlie. So
I almost called them Jamie and Gary, but I thought I didn't want to upset the other guys in the podcast. But Shanks, what I'll do further down the line, I'll add you to the group chat with him. see if you can last the pace, and if not, I'll just kick you out. Right? I'll United you.
Are we able to talk about that melt that was in our group chat that wasn't in our group chat anymore? Are we able to talk about that?
No, move on.
Can you edit this? Remember, because it's live.
Oh, that's right. Because that's why I didn't even mention the name. But okay, that's fine. We'll move swiftly onwards. Sound?
Here's a funny thing, guys. Guess what? Brecon can he get relegated or just don't want? They refuse to leave the Scottish leagues. What a fucking travesty of a football club. Tam, share your stats for that you were giving us earlier about Brecon.
Oh, you could have like prepped me for this or something.
I'm sorry, we only do the same podcast once a week, every week.
Give me 2 wee seconds here, and
You've lost your right to
I've
speak.
got it. So Brecon in their last 152 games have won 17, which is out of a possible 456 points. They've accumulated 62 points.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So what's that as a decimal point, please?
It's fuck knows, man. I was trying to be funny there and I just failed.
You're not funny enough to think that fast.
This is why I need an editing function on the podcast
yeah,
here.
absolutely. Well played, Shanks. You've thrown him under the bus. Now people need
I'll
to
leave now.
Mic drop.
Aye, but for the people that maybe don't know, haven't seen it, don't care about Brecon or whatever, Brecon are currently bottom of the pyramid, like they were last year, and we were demoted, Partick Thistle were demoted, and Stranraer were demoted, and Brecon managed to survive. Some would say because their chairman is on the SPFL board, but that would be bitter. We won't go down there. But again, this season now, they are bottom of the pyramid, as we have said. They will face Kelty or Brora Rangers, I believe it is, in the playoff, and they have written to the other clubs in the SPFL to basically beg them not to make them play a playoff because they haven't played enough games, and Brora and Kelty haven't won enough matches to warrant a playoff spot. From everybody on This Is My Story podcast, get it fucking right up. I hope he's going to bust.
Mhm.
Absolute. You couldn't fucking give them a beamer. They're an embarrassment. Have you read anything about it, Shanksy? Do you ken anything?
Just, it's obviously they've been saved 2 years in the bounce, and I'm assuming, given your bile towards them, that they were one of the teams that voted against reconstruction.
Yes,
Mhm.
and now they want reconstruction.
Because it suits their needs.
It suits their agenda. And the absolute poetic irony of yesterday was they tweeted, as loads of football clubs did, the pictures of fans celebrating and all that sort of stuff, saying this is football or whatever, against the protests against the ESL type thing. And then a day later are saying, this might be football, but fuck Kelty and Brora. save masking. Vote for reconstruction after they wouldn't help anybody else. And the absolute outpouring of get it right up, you take your medicine from Hearts Twitter has been glorious. But what has made it even more glorious is Berwick Rangers, East Stirling, all these teams just absolutely battering them, basically saying, get over yourself, get on with it, get it up you. It's been superb.
Good. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Aye. Same. I tweeted today to say that I hope if it does go to a vote, I want Hearts to vote for reconstruction, and then as soon as it looks like it's going to go through, change their vote to no and say that Lammer versus Brora and Kelty. So we've changed our mind. That is how petty we have become as a fan base, and I'm all for it. Anything else happened? Harry Cochrane, probably good place to talk. Earlier in the week, Harry Cochrane has been told he has no future at Hearts. He will leave the club in the summer. Again, it's hard. You have to I've got two standpoints on it. Is that one, I think you have to take Harry as a player. There you go again, because I'm mates and I've been on the radio and a few podcasts. I've called him Harry. Get used to it. Because Harry has played a few games, but you've got to. I think Cochrane just symbolises a much bigger problem at Hearts than just specifically saying Harry Cochrane should be playing games. For example, Scott McGill tonight has come off the bench to play the only minutes this season from anyone under the age of 20. And where did he get 10 minutes or something at the end of the game today? I mean, so we now have 2 games left. He's played 10 minutes in a season. It's not enough. We've also told Lewis Moore he has no future at the club. We have let Anthony McDonald go. We've let Morrison go. We've let Hickey, the long and short. Aye.
Did we not offer Cochrane a deal?
Aye.
Sorry.
So and it sounds like, maybe the same idea as Andy Irving, same as Harry Cochrane or whatever, is that they don't see a future at Hearts. They might have been offered terms, but have decided that they see their career progressing better away from Hearts. And I think that that's something that, like I said before, people will focus on Harry Cochrane and say, but I think he was shite, or people say, I think he was great. It doesn't matter. It's another young player that we've spent all this time developing, bringing up through the ranks, paying money to get into the team that's never materialised. And again, he's just going to leave. And again, it's just a bigger problem than Harry Cochrane. It's very disappointing to go. And again, I don't know. I always thought Harry Cochrane flattered to deceive, but my argument this season with it is that will he have had more of an impact, or at least the same impact as Halliday or McAneff or Haring or whoever else we've played in that centre midfield position? Then I think what I've seen of him, I've seen enough to say that he won't be any worse. Same with McGill, same with Chris Hamilton, same with Cam Logan, same with Harry Stone. All these young guys that are warming the benches of other places. It seems a shambles. Ando, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that if you look at we've been vocal on the pod before about it's not exactly a massive amount of talent. I mean, it's a reasonable amount of talent coming on the conveyor belt out of the academy. Just to let them go for fuck all just seems stupid, right? Because the investment has already been put in, right? to get him to where he is now. The X amount of thousands of pounds was spent on him, developing him and nurturing him and paying his medical bills, all that sort of stuff, right? So why don't we at least try and cash in and break even? Even if, if he doesn't go for, multi-million pounds like Hickey did, we can still probably punt him for a fee and a development fee and at least try and get money back.
I think we still get a development fee if he signs within the UK.
Thanks for pissing on my parade, Tam. But then what we could maybe try and do is actively try and keep a hold of him in the hope that he does get good and therefore attracts a transfer fee. But it seems stupid business sense. But again, just my opinion.
Same's going to happen in a couple of months' time when Andy Irvine rejects his contract and leaves as well. So
Yeah.
Well, he's definite. There's 2 games left
away.
of the season.
Aye.
He's away. He's 100% away.
Definitely.
But again, I think football fans were dead reactionary, things happening, and like we've said before, the longer a player's injured, the better he gets. The longer he's at the team, the more we miss him, type thing. I think it's important to not get bogged down on Harry Cochrane, the player, and because we haven't seen enough of him, which is part of our big frustrations. But I think the bigger issue and the bigger problem is, like we've said, it's the overall just acceptance that these players have spent. Harry Cochrane's been at Hearts for nearly 10 years. That's mad. There's something daft like that. It's like 7 or 8 years he's been at Hearts.
Wow.
Absolutely mental, and he's just going to walk away for nothing. And like, we don't know what happens behind the scenes. Of course we don't. But it does feel like there's just an acceptance that he'll go. Do you know what I mean? And then you look at tonight as well, not to single him out, he's a young boy and he had a good game last week or whatever, but Henderson was he was as well not playing tonight. He was absolutely jobby. Do you know what I mean? He's hot or cold. He's just come off a game where he was brilliant and he's no impacted it here, but we'll come into that a wee bit better when we do match reaction. So that's a bit disappointing. It's one of the things I hope the football club is looking to change. We need to change that culture. And again, it starts, I looked it up, Roger Arnott, who is the head of the academy. He's been the head of the academy now for 4 years, I think, since 2016, but he's been involved in the academy for 10 years now. Whether it be under his direct management or whatever, his part of the business is the academy. That's the umbrella that he falls under. We have sold one academy prospect in that 10 years. One.
Really?
Hickey. We will. I think we got a fee for Jamie Walker, etc. So 2, if we say that. But we'll agree that it's been nowhere near enough, and especially under Budge, and especially since he become the actual head of the department. So if you've got somebody that's in a department whose whole focus and mantra of the club is to sell young players, bring them through and sell them, and we've only sold one in the time that he's been head, we all work in places where it's target driven and we have expectations and standards to meet. You know yourself, who lasts in a job for 4 years that's produced one golden egg, so to speak?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Constantly hitting and missing targets is a big problem at the club, and there doesn't seem to be anybody wielding the axe for poor performance. Shanks, I'll come to you first because I think you had your hand up first.
You've kind of taken most of it. It was really just to say, I wonder, like, if when we move to foundation, will those sorts of stats be published? Like, how much money we're investing in the academy, how much money we're investing in the medical department, how much money's been wasted on players that are just walking out in a free, how much money have we spent on deep heat for John Suter over the past few seasons? like where is that all balanced out? It would just be interesting if that will become available in fan knowledge in the future.
To be honest, there'll be people now, if they're listening, saying that stuff, if you wanted to forensically go through the accounts at the end of the year, I'm sure there would be subheadings and sub-brackets of this amount to here and that amount there. But again, all those type of things are long and convoluted for that exact reason. It's to stop people from digging, because no one's going to forensically dig through a set of bloody accounts published at the end of the year. Ando, what were you going to say?
Just to bring in a comment from the chat from Alistair Laurie, saying because it touches on what we're speaking about just now. So the youth development is nothing but random. Connor Smith, out of the blue, starts at Easter Road, holds his own, doesn't ever play again. No clear pathway between the academy and the first team. So there's definitely talking sense within that.
Yeah, I tried to look there. I'm going to give the credit to, and if it's wrong, I'll apologise. I'm sure it was Amoruso lets it run. If it wasn't him, it was the Maroon Report published a thing of minutes or games played by everybody that's been out on loan as a youngster. And Harry Cochrane is like the only one that's played more than 10 games whilst out on loan or something like that. The other folk are, like we said, Cammy Logan sat on the bench at Ibrox. Some of the guys that Chris Hamilton played at the weekend and scored, but I don't think these guys are even getting the experience that we think they are getting when they're out on loan, which then gets the purpose. Well, why would we send a player out on loan when basically we're playing in the league that we would normally send our players on loan to anyway?
No.
So why not give them a chance?
Harry Stone's probably going to be coming up to close to, and again, I'll probably get it way wrong, but I'm sure that Harry Stone is playing a lot of games while he's out on loan. But again, he's probably the one other person that's coming close to getting past that yardstick.
Do you want anybody just here, because it's just random, and I remember being annoyed by it the other day. How many goalkeepers are at our football club right now?
I think it's 5,000. So something along those lines. We've got 6 or 7.
Craig Gordon, Ross Stewart,
Jesus.
Harry Stone,
Bobby
Lamal, Colin Doyle. 5 goalkeepers for one position. 5-1. That was inadvertent. I'm the one of those mental half fans that does that. That was not on purpose. 5 goalkeepers at the football club, all getting a wage. 5 goalkeepers getting a wage at the football club.
To be fair, 3 of them will be fucking off in the summer.
But it doesn't matter though. At this level, like you said, it goes down to this acceptance of targets and cost cutting. You work in a business, for example, if you manage a team that's got a target or a cost outlay or whatever, you just keep going to your manager every week and saying, we're spending money that we don't need on 3 of these players or 2 of these players. Somebody somewhere would go, what's happening here? Bring them in, tell them to leave. Why are we paying?
And Morton's not even named a keeper on the bench tonight.
Aye, and we've got
As
5
example.
They know the team that had 1 keeper the whole season.
I did it as well, like stupidly, because I was annoyed. I did it with right backs as well, right? How many right backs do you think we've got?
Oh,
4 or 5.
4.
Brandon, Logan,
Mikey Smith, Jamie Brandon, Cammy Logan, Shea Logan, Mihai Popescu. They all play right back. Andy Halliday can play right back. 6. That's 6 people that can play one position. That's fucking mad. That's mental. You were the guys. How could we waste £5 billion? Fucking wasting £60 million now. Wasting £90 million. It's ridiculous. 90 million. That's not what I meant to say. The Hearts do not have 90 million. I meant to say 9 million. But it's mental. Right. What were we talking about? What is this bit? We talking about headlines or something? Or
I don't know, but it's just really depressing.
We have actually had a headline suggestion from Davey McClure. Hopefully you're still listening, so you get the or watching. Sorry, so you get the credit for this. But one of the headlines surely should be Robbie saying that our aim is top 6 for next season, and then in the same sentence, scouting a boy from Forfar. What the fuck is that?
Just trying to ignore it, to be honest. And again, that's the people. When I said that last night, the people are right. And Andy Webster came for Arbroath. You know, we got Colin Cameron for Raith Rovers. We got Neil McCann for Falkirk. We've got Davy Weir for Falkirk. They were all the shite leagues or whatever. So it's not to write off the guy. What triggered me was the fact that he'd said that. He said about we don't need a huge clear out. We just need to add quality. And then in the same breath says that we're looking to bring in the centre back for Forfar. It's like punch. On you go.
So is he like contracted to Reading, that boy? Is he on loan at Forfar? Or something? Did I read about Reading?
Who cares?
All I know is that in a season's time, he's going to show up on Shanks McCann. He's going to be a Danny Amankwa on Shanks McCann, where we're all trying to guess who the hell he was. Because if he comes to Hearts, he'll be fucking shit. And again,
probably
the thing for me is this season seems to be lost, or from the sound bites that have come from the club, the importance of next season seems to be lost in the club. Top 6. I'm sorry, I'm not I'm not spending £400 on a season ticket to watch Hearts pat themselves in the back finishing fucking top 6. Absolutely not a chance. That's not my football club. Somebody has to walk into that boardroom and say, fourth is the relegation spots for Hearts. Finish below fourth, you explain yourself. I want a cup final, a cup win, Europe, something that's distracted us. But fucking it never goes below fourth. Never. Third is what we want, pushing second if we can. You know, you look at this, that Celtic out of the Scottish Cup, Aberdeen and Hibs, St Johnstone are potentially going to go out, Motherwell as well. Their opportunities that Hearts, if they were a big club like we think they are, should be sweeping up and taking that trophy, or at least getting to a final. Same with the League Cup. The League Cup semi-final was what, Livy, St Mirren and St Johnstone, Hibs. We weren't there. If we want to be a big club, somebody has to go in and start acting like a big club at boardroom and say this isn't acceptable, because again, top six is, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not a hard enough target, because we're going to we're going to let go 13 or 14 players, and we're going to bring in 13 or 14 players. We can't have another season of, oh, Freer might be good, Gary Mackay-Steven might turn into something that is better, Popescu might be decent. We need surefires, because it's a big season for us next year. Right. We'll move on for the headlines. There's nothing else really that's worth talking about. I liked Shay Logan's thing on Twitter today, was quite good. He was reading, I don't know, he obviously Googled himself or something, but he went through some old Celtic View blog about him for like 2018, where it was just basically calling him like an arrogant wanker for being annoyed that he was racially abused. But he just posted a picture of him reading it like that. He was like that. It's pretty funny. Right, cool. If there's no other headlines, we'll move on to match reactions.
And we'll move on from that.
We'll keep this brief, man. Like, I put something in the group chat to you boys that can probably sum this up really quickly if I can find it dead fast, which was no imagination, no urgency, no width. There you go.
Is that you describing the season or just tonight?
Well, they're one and the same, Tam. Because this season, barring the odd blip of brilliant, I wouldn't even call it brilliance, barring the odd blip of excitement where our blood has actually been running hot, most of the season has been shit and dug meat, and exactly the same as that performance that we've seen tonight. That might seem overly critical, but
no, it's not. It's not critical enough, to be honest with you. I think I watched the first half and turned it off, because here's my thinking, right? And maybe this is like we've talked about, the different mentalities within the football club. And again, I'm not going to, this isn't to inflate my ego. There's a reason why Hearts want to talk to me or other fans like me. There's a reason why the media want to talk to fans like us, etc. It's because what we expect and what the clubs expect, they're so different. We seem to be on totally different streets, and that's why it's confused them. Because why are the media surprised that Hearts are angry that we get knocked out to Brora? Why are the media surprised that we want Robbie Nielsen out when we've failed to win X amount of games this season? It's in performances like tonight. Like, it can't be any clearer. That's why. It's because the expectation and the reality of what's happening are wrong. I watched tonight thinking, we've just won the league. League's done. Finished. We've just battered a team 6-0 at home. We're on the telly. They're going to done what the season's objective was. McInnes scored his first goal. Henderson's got a goal. Boyce has scored a hat-trick. Nando set them up. I expected us to be fucking brimming with confidence, thinking, fuck it, we finally got out of the Diddy League. There's, why would you not be confident?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everything that's come off, you think they're going to have bounce in their step. Surely, if they were ever going to be buzzing for a game of football, it was the night. Their first game as champions. They didn't win it on the park. They won it sitting in their house watching Soccer Saturday come in. Do you know what I mean? You think, right, let's go put a statement out. We've won this league. We've been way below par. They keep telling us every single time they're in the media, had a few bad results, have had this, that and the other. And they give that no shots on target in the first half. The formation was a fucking shambles. They had no idea what they were doing. They were aimless, rudderless, no width, no aggression, no pace, no tempo. A shambles. And like I tweeted there, imagine that performance But next season,
No.
when we're away to Aberdeen, when we're away to St Johnstone, we're away to Motherwell, and those sides have actually got a bit about them. These won't be 0-0 draws.
No.
These won't be narrow victories. We're going to play against proper teams that have got decent players that are in the windy
And that's
cleaners.
terrifying.
Aye, it is. It should be sending alarm bells ringing right around the club because, like I said, if you can't be buzzing to go play for Hearts on the back of that, what fucking are you going to be buzzing about? Tam, you did the big Hearts call, talk of the tune tonight. You did the watch along. What was
Yep.
the overall feeling on the match?
We were all thankful we had the emotional support to watch it with each other. The fact we done very little actually talking about the game or watching the game and just talked about everyone else in football and life was quite good actually. Thankfully we didn't have to watch it, but just the overall thing was like, I think one of the guys, Derek, he said that looks like Alloa was a blip, meaning that our good performances was a blip. The other thing, we were all speaking about how we actually made Morton look like a good side, who are sat second bottom, possibly relegation playoff.
I'll interrupt you with some breaking content from Robbie Nielsen.
Okay.
It was a difficult surface.
Can I guess? Oh, I was going to guess the surface.
It was a difficult surface to play football on. Every time you passed the ball, it just bobbled all over the place. If you go back to when we played Morton the last time, you would hear the exact same excuse. So why the fuck did it surprise you this time? Fair enough, you can get caught out once. Like I've said before, once can be a coincidence. What is it? Once bitten, twice shy, or something stupid like that.
I don't
Something
know.
mad.
I know a song.
Kevin will not appreciate that.
No,
tonight.
he won't. And we're going to have to start talking about Schrodinger's cat and all this sort of shit. It's like, this is an Albert Einstein thing you're quoting here, is it? Whatever it is.
But aye, like you said, it's how can that be an excuse? We've played there before. What did they think that they've had a £1 million artificial surface put in? Like, how does that shock you? That just sums it all up. It sums it all up for me. The excuse culture. And the other thing I was going to say there before the breaking news was, again, you've seen some tweets tonight saying, "Oh, I couldn't care less about this game. It's a dead rubber. Get us out this league. This result doesn't matter." Fuck that in the bin right now. Of course it matters. Of course it matters. All we hear from the club is that these players are playing for contracts. So if these guys, where's the passion then? Where's the I want to play for this football club, because that was pathetic.
Only one of them.
One shot on target.
Only one.
One shot on target. Yeah. Aye. Liam Boyce was the only
Exactly.
player again. If anything about him, and then you can't criticise Craig Gordon because he doesn't do anything not to be criticised for. Do you know what I mean? Boyce and Gordon, the only two that even looked remotely on it. And I don't care what anybody said or says as well. I don't. Through all the noise of Brora, it completely and utterly lost on everybody that by losing to Brora Rangers, the players bagged themselves an extra 5 weeks off. The cup final isn't it? Our season ends on the 29th of April. The Scottish Cup final is at the end of May. By not beating Brora Rangers and proceeding in the Scottish Cup, they have given themselves an extra 5 weeks off before the new season starts.
This is the tinfoil hat stuff that is that been coming out from the group chat. But you know what? Right, all joking aside, that we're not going to say that it isn't a factor, because we don't know. We've already commentated on how weird that dressing room must be, just on the strength of the Jamie Walker interview. And obviously Jamie Walker's our pal, was on episode whatever it was. Go back and listen, you'll love it. But that, it's like, who's to say that there isn't that sort of thing that is rife within the club, which is actually, throw this fucking game, boys. You can get 5 weeks off. I know it's COVID and you can't probably go anywhere, but still, better half in the house.
I don't think they'll have thrown it. Like, I don't think they've purposely.
Thrown's a strong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, aye. And if anybody that thinks it is tinfoil hat, go listen to any Cy Ferry interview with a player. Listen to Kev Kyle talk about what it's like being in a dressing room. Ian Black, anybody, the players that he does, the keeping on the ground, one-to-one interviews. and listen to them talk about, they know exactly what a win bonus is for sitting on the bench versus winning. They know exactly, well, if this happens and that happens, international break, we can get 3 days in Marbella or whatever. And then come back and say, oh no, 100%, nobody in the dressing room went, here, if we didn't make the Scottish Cup final, we get 5 weeks off. We get an extra 5 weeks off or whatever. Talk about Andy Halliday, who's on open goal every week, talking about going on the boogie bus to the Euros. He would miss the boogie bus going on the Euros because we'd be back for pre-season if we'd won the Scottish Cup, because we'd be playing in the early rounds of the Europa League. So it is mental. I understand that sounds like Celtic conspiracy tinfoil hat stuff, but when you look at the absolute lacklustre performance, you're telling me that it's totally and utterly far-fetched to think that some of them haven't got their eyes on an extra 5 weeks off? Talk shit.
If I didn't give a fuck, I'd do anything to get 5 weeks off my work, to be honest.
Exactly, of course you would. Ando.
So, just in the spirit of not giving a fuck, Sandy Dowie has asked the question in the group, are we happy to lose to Inverness on Saturday and to fuck Dunfermline up? Kind of plays into what we're talking about.
I'm all on board. If it upsets Rab, sign me up now.
It's a bit...
I'm serious though, but if you look at the 3 last games, like, we had to win the night. We could genuinely not take a point out of the 2. If you look at what it matters to the 2 clubs that are coming up, like, what a shambolic end of the season.
Passionate.
It is true. What did you think about the game tonight, Shanks? I knew that you were asking the formation. Do you want to talk us through what the formation was?
I never watched it, so I believe we started out at 3 at the back and it turned into 5 at the back. We stuck with the same successful partnership of McAneff and Haring. You had McAneff in the paper today, pretty much saying how class that was against Alloa and how he was hopeful that would be the same again tonight. Clearly it didn't happen. You've said that Ando was shite. I can't comment. I've written down 3 positives.
Right, go for it. Let's hear them. We always like this.
Well, you've already stolen my McGill one about first minutes for the youngster. Next one, clean sheet. Always good. Suter's not been injured. And Gary McKay is still benched. So,
saving on the deep heat. That's what's good. That'll be at least a player coming in. That guy for Forfar, that's his whole wages. Saved on the deep heat bill.
Right.
Superbio. Right, well.
Superbio, wow.
Superbio, mate. That's what I do. I actually go on an Italian podcast as well and talk about Hickey. So that was just a wee bit of my Italian coming in. It's just one of my many bows.
This is my story podcast.
This is my story. Hey, come on, hey. Just to drop this bomb on for my fans that are in the comments and that are listening live. I'm on the Terrace podcast tomorrow as well, so I'll give you a plug for that on Twitter if you want to hear me have a nice chat with Chris Umalumo. That'll be fun for you. I'm on that tomorrow.
Oh, you know. Why did you tell us this thing?
You know, important enough.
Craig slide into your DMs.
I specifically told my PA to tell you, and they've not done it. I'm absolutely furious. I was trying to think of another name that wasn't Thomas that began with T, and it's like went back to Kev's alphabet game. I was literally like, I was going to say Tam, and I was like, well, I'll call you Tam, and I was like, Thomas, but then I'll call you Thomas. So I was like, so there we go. Oh, this is where we would normally play lift music as we wait for Ando to come back. Anybody get anything exciting to say or to add?
Got the comments open, Shanks. In the comments, you can.
You have both been warned about reading the comments whilst podcast. This is going into official warning territory here.
Robert Gill says taking off 2 players and bringing on Nazy and GMS is just the same as going down to 9 players. Can't argue.
Fair.
Well, Inverness drew with 9 players tonight as well. It must be shite being a Dundee fan.
I did flick it on at one point where Nazy basically just punted it out for a corner.
Right, that was somewhere.
Turned around to blame it on somebody else. Nobody else near him. So that's
a beautiful moment, isn't it? Right, let's do a quiz, Royson.
Well, hey, right.
We just treaded water there till you got back, Andy.
Oh, were you? All right.
We played with the lift music, we had a nice discussion. It
Lovely.
was superb. Absolute. Was it the Sony Awards for like broadcasting and podcastings?
It is.
It
It's
is enough to get us a Sony
It
Award.
is a Sony award. So in the acceptance speech, we'll gloss over the fact that Ando had to go for a piss during the live broadcast and then got sidetracked because that whole Derek Chauvin thing, the verdict has just been rendered on Sky News, and I was reading it when I was walking halfway down the stairs. But anyway, that's nothing to do with football, so we'll gloss over it. Just
Right.
catching up on the group.
This is a hand in the. Oh, sorry, on you go.
Shanks didn't watch the game, you lucky bastard, from Robert Gill, and that was it. Right, I don't need a pen and paper for this one then.
Oh, but we need hands in the air for this one.
Like you just don't care.
Like we just don't. Yeah.
Oh my god, man.
Oh, beautiful moment.
Right, you know what?
Superbio.
For everyone that's watching live, if you want to just turn off, throw your phone out the window, whatever you're doing, I'd completely understand.
That was not Superbio. You were right, Shanks. That was Gannon.
It was shit.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Where's Roy Simpson?
Carry on, keep talking. I'm just pouring myself another drink, but I'll do it on camera so everyone can see. By the way.
Quiz Roy Simpson this week is also what Corbett hates, but then what isn't what Corbett hates just now. So, question 1. How many games in this league have we failed to win in the last 25 games? So, it's 25 games we've played this season. How many matches have we failed to win out of 25? Shanks.
12.
Sam.
I was thinking 11.
Ando.
No, it's more than that. Actually.
14.
No points. It's 10.
Oh,
Okay.
We have failed to win 10 out of 25 matches in the Vida League. Fantastic. There you go. I believe that. I'll just check to make sure it's not one of my questions. But I believe Laurie Dunsire, Hearts TV, friend of the podcast, tweeted tonight to say that if Hearts drew tonight, it becomes the first time in our history that we have drawn 5 consecutive away matches. And we duly obliged. Just another shit stat to add to Robbie Nielsen's growing list of shit stats. Fan-fucking-tastic.
And do you know what? See if that was in the Premier League, I'd be alright with that. If we were winning at home and we were picking up points on the road, that'd be sound with that. But
not in the Vida League.
Shocking down here.
Not in the Vida
Not
League.
acceptable.
Right. Well, speaking of in the top flight, Shanks, how many away games have Hearts won in our past 2 seasons? So our last 55 games, how many away matches have Hearts won out of 55? And I'll go in reverse this time. So, Ando.
So we've played 55 away games.
55 away games.
And how many?
No, it can't be 50. Surely not.
How many of them have we
Probably,
won?
we've probably played 55 games in total.
So
We've played 50.
and
Played 55 games in total.
Right. Okay, so you'd probably say about, what, 27, 28 of them have been away games. I'll say we've won 9.
Okay. It's 26 away
Okay.
games we've played.
Oh, well, there we go.
So out of 26.
Out of 26,
so 9.
we've won
Shanks,
9. I'll stand by that.
Sam or Shanks?
I got 8.
Sam.
I'll just stick with 11.
Just 11 for everything.
Can I see your hands, Tam? What are they doing?
How am I
Put them
even
behind
Google
your
that?
hand.
That would take a lot of
No, it
effort.
doesn't matter.
man.
Put your hands behind your head.
We 7. We've won 7 away
Shit.
games.
That's crap.
We won 2 away. We won 2 away games in the top flight, both at Hibs, and then this season we have only beaten Arbroath, Morton, Rafe, Ayr, and Alloa away from home, and we've been beat or drawn with the rest of them. So there you go. That's correct. Oh, they're the games. Sorry, they're the teams that we've beaten. 2 against Hibs, 1 against Arbroath, 1 against Morton, 1 against Rafe, Ayr, and Alloa. 7 out of 26.
Dog
Fucking
meat.
shambles.
See these live reactions? I usually find like cathartic, and it makes me a bit happier.
You getting angry?
I hate this, man.
This is all geared at making the public see that you're the biggest miserable wanker when it comes to Hearts about, and that your happy clapping persona is only for the podcast. I'm gonna get it. I'll get it out you tonight. Right, number 3. In our last 26 away games, how many goals have we scored?
I'll go first.
Right, go.
15.
15. Tam, 11. By any chance?
Nah, it'll be higher than 11. Surely. Uh,
Don't call me Shirley.
22.
22. Shanksy,
How many games you played?
26.
I just went double 11 there. I didn't even realise.
okay, that's not lost on me.
I'll say 27 goals.
Shanksy gets 3 points.
Oh, no way.
In 26 away matches, we have scored 27 goals.
Fucking hell.
Bearing in mind, we scored 4. We've scored 4 at Rafe, and we've scored 3 at Easter Road. So,
Okay,
but,
that's fair enough.
you know what I mean? Fucking shows you the slim pickings. So then, for 4 points, how many have we conceded away from home in 26 matches?
21.
Tam?
Ah,
Oh no, it'll be far more than that because we've
44.
not won. Aye.
we lost
I'll go
5 at like
35.
Park Feed or something.
35, right, okay. Sam?
44.
Shanks?
40.
What did you say, Ando?
35.
You win the points. Or day, actually, because it's 37.
No,
Well-
only the 5th
Aye, aye.
question.
Yeah, no,
Aye,
because
you-
halfway between the two would be 37 and a half. 37 is
Yeah,
closer
and
to
you're the
me, so
closer.
yeah. Technicality, I'll
4.
take that.
But only the last question's closest to the pins, so...
No, it's not even closest to the pin. The last question is just basically,
Oh, okay.
now tell me that we should... How many of us want Robbie Nielsen to remain in charge next season?
Yeah, well, that's easy. 0%.
You all get 5 points for that. It's gonna have 5 points for that. That's good. I didn't do closest to the pin because you told me that the live thing was up on YouTube, and I was like, oh,
Didn't have
shit.
enough time.
And I stole your Breaking stat.
And I don't know the size of Jamie Walker's knob, so I couldn't do how many knobs was it for here to Capello or wherever it is Morton play.
Oh dear.
That's right. How did that actually, before we'll do predictions once we talk about Cali and that, but how did has there been any movement in the prediction leagues after tonight? Because I'm sure all of us will have predicted Hearts 1.
I did have the bit of paper sitting about here somewhere, but I've tidied the place so well. Keep chatting amongst yourselves. We'll circle
it doesn't
back.
matter. It doesn't
No,
really
no,
matter,
got it here.
to be
Got it here.
Right.
Right. No one predicted a draw. Everyone predicted a Hearts win. So it's as you were.
Yep. That's what I thought. Right, cool. Well, the last bit we'll talk on the day is obviously we've got Cali Thistle. 2 more league games left. Our last home game is Cali Thistle on Saturday because Cali Thistle got put out of the cup. We'll preview that. We'll talk about that, and then we will, which kind of ties into the leave it on the stand stuff because obviously, win, lose or draw on Saturday, Hearts will be presented with the Vida League trophy, and we'll discuss our thoughts on that and developments as we know them. But first, Cali at home. Does anybody actually care?
I kind of want Neil McCann to do quite well, so I'm quite happy for Hearts to get pumped, and for nice to get a cheeky wee away victory if it helps them. All joking aside, no, I don't care.
Well, I think what if we lost to Rafe Rovers, lost to Queen of the South, drawn with Morton, drawn with Ayr, and then potentially lost or drawn with Cali in the Diddy League. That's at home. Very worrying stats to take into the top flight where we're supposedly breaking into the top 6. And as I've already mentioned, the expectation for me as a Hearts fan is to be no worse ever than 4th. That's worrying, isn't it?
Yes, big time.
So what is it? So what's the permutations as it stands now? If Cali Thistle win, does it secure that Dunfermline can't finish in the playoff spots? Is that basically why people are saying they want Hearts to get pumped?
You're going after Rab here, aren't you?
Well, that you know how bitter we are as a fan base
I'm-
now, but I'm
Is it
sure.
no got something to do with Dundee or?
Well, Dundee and Rafe are top 2 and 3. Then I'm sure it is Dunfermline, but Cali Thistle can overtake them if they win.
Yes. In
So-
short,
Hopefully 25.
Dunfermline in 4th on 36 points, Inverness in 5th on 35 points. So there's only 1 point of a differential. Goal differences that Cali have a better goal difference. So if Cali win and Dunfermline
only
don't
have-
win, then Inverness go into the playoff spot into the final week of the season.
Dundee
also
could still lose a playoff as well, can't they?
You've also just had another example of what Tam's like on the podcast, where someone's mid-flow explaining something and Tam just jumps
Yeah.
in to get to the point that the person is going to say anyway.
Dundee have essentially guaranteed a playoff spot because even if Dunfermline win, then they would get 3 points. They would take them up to 39. Dundee have a superior goal difference and would stay in 3rd unless Dunfermline win by a 2-goal margin greater than what Dundee win by. So Dundee essentially are in a playoff spot. They're not going to come out. They're not going to fall out of it.
So basically, what they want is if we beat Cali Thistle and Dunfermline get a win, Cali Thistle can't finish in the top thing, which is why
Yes.
they're saying let's get beat. So Shanks, with that in mind, what formation do you want to play? Who do you want to see play, and what do you think the score will be?
I think it will be 2-2. I think Cali have got everything to play for, and we'll want to show up, but in the end, I don't think the players will care enough. I want to see Miguel get full 90 minutes, and apart from that, I couldn't give a fuck.
That is the end of the season vibes that we all knew when we did episode 1 at the start. This is where we knew we would be.
end up.
Come league, we would just be fucking sick of Hearts, sick of football, and sick of each other. A superb way to end the season, innit?
It is a
Sam?
bit about if we go out and get absolutely pumped, does that put even more pressure on Robbie?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing now is, where is the bottom of the barrel for Budge? We've already spoke about it now. I think anything after the fact now of that we've won the championship, I think just write off as, well, fuck it, we won the league anyway, who cares? It's irrelevant. So there is always that. But yeah, for me, well, you've know my thoughts on it. I've been on numerous outlets telling the world my thoughts on it. Robbie does not survive this anyway, and all of this just adds to the pressure that should be building on Robbie Nielsen. Sam, what's your thoughts for Saturday?
Don't really care. Had enough. Probably won't watch it. And we will get beat 1-0 is my plan. Because I don't really think the players give a fuck anymore. If we had any youth club players left at the club, I'd play them all, but we don't because they're all on loan, warming benches, and that's pretty much it.
You just saying what I said.
Ando. Yeah, but that's right.
Well, I do.
In a better way, though.
I
Said in a better way.
You finished, Tam? Can I go now? Right, cool. Sound, thanks. So I do care what happens because at the end of that game, could be, and we're probably going to touch on it in a little second about the whole Leave It on the Stand campaign and whatnot. I would absolutely no, I wouldn't love it if we got beat. However, I do think it will be a 2-1 victory to Inverness. I think they will just shade it. I've not seen enough from us tonight to think that going into a game against Inverness, who are definitely more capable than the opposition that we faced tonight, Neil McCann's going to have them buzzing and up for it, given what's at stake for them. I reckon they're going to see it through. It'll be 2-1 to them.
Well, let me just quickly check, because I'm almost certain that Cali Thistle will be the form team in the division. I think he's only lost one match since he's took over. Let me have a wee look. Let's see.
On the last 5, Wraith Rovers are top because they've won 4 out of the last 5. 1-4, drawn 1. Inverness have won 3, drawn 2. So, but that's just the last 5 matches. But from when he took over, I'm not even. How many games have he been in charge? I'm not even
Aye,
sure.
but the game since us, or the game before us, and then there. But me again, I'll play devil's advocate because we've not said it tonight, so I'll say it now. Again, like I've said about tonight, this is the last home game. It could be potentially the last time some of these players play at Tynecastle. It could be the last time they play for Hearts. I would expect professionalism throughout the squad that's been evidently lacking in Alloa in the Cup, Brora in the Cup, numerous league games again tonight, where that bit of pride in the jersey, fighting for the badge, fighting for us fans, all that sort of stuff, sending a message, last home game of the season, we're the champions, the TV cameras are going to be on us because of the Leave It on the Stand campaign and all that sort of stuff. You're expecting them to put on a show. But that again becomes expectation versus reality. The expectations of what I think Hearts are don't match the expectations that these players, the manager, and the club believe that Hearts are. So I'm in the same boat as you. I think it'll be a horrendous, boring 1-1 or 2 each, or we might shade it 2-1. We might lose 2-1 as well. But one thing it absolutely won't be is a convincing, unbelievable performance where we're firing on all cylinders or whatever, because bags are packed, passports are looked at, they're got in Marbella. They'll pay the £5,000 fine it is or whatever to travel because it's peanuts to professional football players, and they'll go get their suntans in Ocean Beach Club with Wayne Lineker. That's exactly what I think will happen. So put me down for a 1-1.
A 1-1. Roger.
A 1-1.
Um,
So on
No,
you,
I was just going to say we'll get someone over at the geriatric ward in St John's to get Kev's, and then we'll get the same guy to stop by the school and get Bradsy's scores for next week. Just one other thing, and it's probably quite relevant because you just disappeared off camera, and we've not had any mentions in the chat for a wee while. But Liam L is asking Tam, why do you keep disappearing off camera? Are you away to take more pictures for your only Tams? That's a genuine question.
I've lost my microscope. I can't do OnlyCams anymore.
Fair point.
You got the bladder of a small child.
I actually do. I've had 2 beers tonight and they've just pissed right through me. Like, honestly.
Aye, so that brings us on to the thing that we spoke about here. Obviously, the Leave It on the Stand campaign. We spoke about it last week. It's been all over social media and all that sort of stuff. As I've said before, we reached out to the club to talk to them. They very kindly got back in touch with us. They've explained their position on it. I explained our position, or my understanding of the fans' sort of outlook on it and all that sort of stuff. They were great chat, to be honest with you, and of everything that's happened over the last few months and all that, and all the sticks that we can rightly beat the club with, it would be unfair of us to sit here and not give them a shout out for actually talking to us. You know, we actually spoke to someone within the club, not just a tea lady or whatever. It was somebody high up. They've gave us their stance. When we're allowed to, we can discuss what was spoken about, what we said, what they said, and all that sort of stuff. But just know that over the next coming days, today's Tuesday, as you'll have seen in the press today, I don't think I'm saying anything that isn't already in the ether, so to speak, is that the owners, the chairman, CEO, etc., spoke to Robbie and the players on Monday and are speaking to the players again tomorrow just to firm up and confirm what their plans are, to then speak to the SPFL and let them know what we plan to do. And once they've had that confirmed, they will reach out to us again to talk to us, and we should hopefully be able to tell you what was discussed in it. So keep a wee eye out on that. Nothing has changed, to be honest with you. My stance has only been reaffirmed with all of the nonsense that's happened with Brecon, what's happening with Brora and Kelty right now. The SPFL are an absolute shambles organisation. They pissed on Hearts last year. They're going to piss on clubs again this year, and they'll continue to piss on clubs whenever it suits them, we have to change Scottish football. We have to keep fighting against them. And as much as it's petty to other people that are listening, I think leaving it on the stand becomes a much wider point now with all of the stuff that's happened in England and all the you see the SPFL tweeting things like, oh, this is football and we're an organisation built on the pyramid and being fair and equal for all and all that. And I think a day later they're part of the discussions with Brecon to try and save Brecon. Talk shite. We need to get these charlatans out of the game, and the only way we can do that is to keep calling them out. And Saturday, I think, would be poignant as anything to finish that match and fucking ignore their stupid wee trophy and just walk down the tunnel and hopefully draw a line in the sand and the club moves forward. New management in the summer, new players in the summer, get some people at the club that sledgehammer the bowling club mentality and actually instill some actual proper targets and restore the club to its rightful place. I hate that saying rightful place. You have to earn your place in football.
Yep.
That's what happens. But this whole lip service to the fans every 6 months about, oh, we want to push for top four, we want to be playing in Europe, we want to play. Stop talking about it and start fucking delivering it, because we're all sick of it. So that's pretty much the stance on it here. Like I said, keep an eye out on the channels. We'd even toyed with, we could potentially do a live broadcast again tomorrow. If we have any news that's worth sharing from the conversations that we had. But I'll end it with saying thanks to the people at the football club for talking to us. Thanks to Stuart Wallace at the Foundation of Hearts. It was Stuart Wallace that arranged it. I reached out to Stuart to tell him the frustrations of the fan base, of ourselves. And again, like you said when he came on the podcast, he could have ignored us. He could have told us to fuck off. But he didn't. He engaged with us. A man that takes hundreds of abuse, whether you like him or not, or you agree with what he does. We haven't agreed with everything that they've done, but he didn't hide. Easily, we've DM'd hundreds of people asking them to be involved in things or asking for information, and they've ignored us. He reached out, he spoke to us, and not only that, he arranged for us to speak to people within the football club that aren't, as we said, we've spoke to the head of marketing, we've spoke to people that are on the board. This isn't just guys for the canteen or whatever. We didn't get bammed off. So thanks to Stuart Wallace and thanks to the guys at Hearts. Anything else you want to talk about, or are we going to wrap it up at that?
I just can't wait till it's announced that you're going to John Terry it and just pick up the trophy off the stand like you tweeted earlier. That'd be amazing. Can't wait for it.
The players just walk off the tunnel and then Stone Cold music comes on and I come walking out on a massive full-scale Lego bus, getting pushed right to the middle of the centre circle. And I can lift the trophy just myself like that. Yes, Corbett 21 champion on the back. Yeah, absolutely superb. Right, guys, is there any other comments that Ando in the chat that worth having a discussion there?
I've just one or two bits of banter back and forward, but nothing probably worth calling out. But just one for me, just to echo the point that you said about Stuart Wallace and everything. Stuart Wallace, actual proper pal of the show. So, just to re-emphasise exactly what you've just said, and stay tuned for further developments over the next coming days, hopefully.
Yep, and as it's a live one or whatever, thanks to everybody that's been on the feeds. Thanks to everybody that's contributed and sending in your questions and getting involved with us. Again, we say it every week, and I'll continue to say it because I think it's worth saying. We genuinely appreciate it. You've no idea how much we appreciate it. Yeah. Like we said, this started a year ago was just a piss about to get us out of family quizzes on Zoom, and to have the fact that we're talking to Hearts, we're talking to the Foundation of Hearts, we're getting to interact with folk on a weekly basis like we are. It blows my mind every day I think about it. So we couldn't do any of that if it wasn't for the people downloading and listening and that. So again, thanks to every single person that contributes.
And just before you go on that one, so Gogs MKT had, and this was quite early on in the night, it said, "Thanks for cheering up my night, guys." It's a crying emoji, laughing smiley face, whatever it is. And I'd said exactly the same thing as what you've said, which is, right, this sounds wanky, but if you guys didn't watch and listen, then we wouldn't have a podcast and we'd just be sitting throwing abuse at each other. So it
And let
needs
us know
you
if you want
guys.
to see that podcast, because that would be a great podcast.
Well,
Well, just us battering each other and shouting at each other about the Black Bull and mid
I
Calder.
found it in the archives, by the way. See the early quizzes before we even suggested doing this as a podcast. I've got them all. I've found all the old audio tapes. The audio tapes.
Audio
Fucking-
tapes, Jesus.
So I'm throwing.
That'll be on the cut.
Kev recorded his in a gramophone and sent it to me on horse and cart. But you know what I mean. I've found all that. It's not footage, but you know, I found it all. We could probably make a highlight reel at it, because I did listen back to some of it on the weekend. Fucking hell, man, it's actually hilarious. You're going back, it was like over a year ago. It's class. But
Your knowledge is just outpouring, Shanks.
Right.
And the folk will be like, we can say you used all your Hearts knowledge in the 5 Hearts quizzes we did before the podcast. You've run the well dry. Right, cool. Thanks to everybody. We'll see you probably do a live reaction to the game on Saturday.
Yep.
And whatever happens with Leave It on the Stand, etc. So that would be quite a good one.
Be
A funny one to be
interesting.
involved in.
Yep, 100%.
Aye.
Stay tuned.
Aye. Cool, guys. See you all later.
See you later.
Cheers.
Go get out.